Greetings, G-Man Faithful. This is your Commander-in-Chief, G-Man, reporting to you live from G-Man Live. And today we're going to break down hockey. We are going to 1 week in advance. We are going to talk about the NHL playoffs. Yes, that unbelievably difficult cup to win, the hardest trophy to win in North America. And by the way, see, I got a little playoff beard. Yep. That's actually for another reason. That will be gone in a week. We'll go round by round. But I got there's a reason I have to grow this. So, hey, bear with me, okay? I'm not one of those guys that thinks he's like a caveman or like a Vikings from the 13th century or whatever that is. I actually like to, shave and be clean shaven, as you all have seen in my previous videos. Feel free to comment on that, all you guys want. I'm sure there's guys out there that are going to be like, what? I love my beard. Get the fuck out of here. You're crazy. Beards suck. They itchy. It's hot in the summertime. Get rid of that shit, all right? And chicks like to actually rub a nice smooth face, okay? So that's just my take. You guys want to grow the beard? Go ahead and do it, especially now because it's playoff time. So you got the playoff beard. And every one of those players is going to, whoever goes deep, is going to have the longest beards. But that's a hockey tradition, by the way. So baseball and football and all you guys that are trying to steal that shit, stop. It's a hockey tradition that started many, many, many moons ago. So let's leave it there. Now, all right, let's break it down. We already got everybody set except for one team. But we're going to fill that team in, and if it changes, we'll let you know. So we're going to start in the Western Conference where a lot of teams win the cup. So best to start there. Now, Dallas is taking on Minnesota. This one I think is a no-brainer. Minnesota's barely getting in as the final seed. Dallas top seed. They've been kicking ass all season. Them and Chicago have been going back and forth, but Dallas has gotten there. They're going to get that one seed. So Dallas, Minnesota, I see that one going Dallas probably in about 5 games, maybe 6 if Minnesota gets some good goaltending from Dubnik. But probably Dallas moves on to the second round. Chicago and St. Louis. Yes, St. Louis, everybody's doorstep. Doormat. If you want to win the cup, the best thing you can do is actually play St. Louis because the Kings did it in 2012, ran right over St. Louis, went to the cup. Chicago did it in 2013, went right through them, won the cup. Chicago did it in 2015, right through them and won the cup. And I think LA did it in 2014 and went on to win the cup. You seen a theme here? If you play St. Louis in the first round, there's a real good chance you're going to win that cup. All my bettors out there, you can bet if you take on St. Louis, the cup is going to be your destination. So, without further ado, St. Louis, Tarasenko, they can bring their defense, Brian Elliott, all that stuff. Hitch, hey, you know what? Love you guys. You're all getting bounced again for like the 12, what was it? 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You're going out 6 straight years in a row in the first round. That is real. You have to actually try to do that. So, yes, the Stanley Cup defending cup champ, Chicago, they're going to kick your ass right the hell out, and Chicago will move on to the next round. So let's move on to the other division in the Western Conference. You got every other year it's like Chicago, LA. So 2010, it was Chicago. It was a little blip in 11. 12, it was LA. 13, it was Chicago. 14, it was LA. 15, it was Chicago. These are teams that win the cup. And now we're back to 16, so you would logically think LA wins the cup. I don't know. You guys want to bet on that? Fine by me. But and the Kings had a great season this year, over 100 points probably. So yeah, they look good. I mean, they picked up some guys that no one is talking about. Versteeg. They don't even have Gabrick back yet. Vinny Lecavalier looks rejuvenated. This is a deep, deep, deep team, and they got the defense to do it. I mean, if you're gonna put your money on it, you could say LA could, go back to the cup because the Kings are the Kings. So LA is going to play Nashville in the first round. They're going to take them out. I mean, Nashville's good, but they ain't hanging with the Kings because, once again, the Kings are the Kings. And when you got Carter and Toffoli, Dustin Brown and Kopitar and Drew Doughty, Quick, Versteeg. They're going to have Gabrick back. They are stacked. I love this LA team. So they win that. Now in your next round, your next series in the conference or in that division is going to be Anaheim and San Jose. And again, San Jose, like St. Louis, is everybody's doorstep. So Anaheim wins that series, probably going away too. I mean, we're looking at like 5 games. By the way, I think LA wins that one in about 5 games as well. Now we move on to the next round. So now Dallas will be taking on Chicago. Now this could be tough. LA is going to play Anaheim. Now LA played Anaheim a couple of years ago when they went on to win the cup. They were down 3-2, but it wasn't like they were like, oh, we're down 3-2 and we'll just win the next 2 and win. And what they do, 2014, they win game 6 and then they win game 7 in a blowout and then they win the cup. So, I mean, look, until Anaheim can get a goalie, which they don't, the Kings are going to beat them. And the Kings are going to the Western Conference Finals, or as I like to say to my boy out in L.A., the Promised Land. Dallas and Chicago are a little harder to handicap. You got some tough players here, but I'm going to go with Chicago just because a couple of reasons. One, Dallas not battle tested. You got to be battle. You got to grow that beard. Battle tested, it means you've been through the wars. You've been through the unbelievable war of attrition that it takes to get through these NHL playoffs, which is absolutely a war of attrition. And so, Chicago's done it, for almost a decade. And, they got the scars to prove it, but they got the cups to prove it too. So, I think it's going to be a close match. This could go 7. This could be like last year, Chicago-Anaheim in the Western Final. But I see Chicago winning that series. Dallas, probably next year, they're going to start to make their, assault on the cup. But not this year. So, once again, for the millionth year in a row, Chicago, LA in the Western Final. But before we get there, let's head over to the East. So, in the East, we'll get through this quick. We're going to start in the Atlantic. You got Tampa playing Detroit. I'm going Tampa on this. I don't even think Detroit deserves to be there. They knocked off the Flyers the other night, but I mean, they got their asses kicked tonight by Boston. Tampa's going to win that without Stamkos. They're still going to win because they got a guy named Jonathan Drouin, who, by the way, top round pick a couple years ago, is the man. Scored a goal tonight. Can flat out play. Has mad skills. They just got like a contract dispute. So shame on Tampa. Jonathan Drouin is going to carry their ass. And then he's going to sign with somebody else next season because he don't like the way he was treated. So they're going to get Stamkos back probably round 2. And they're going to need him too. Anton Strawman, defense for the Lightning. He'll be back as well. So Tampa moves on to the next round. Now, in the other series in the Atlantic, you got to have Florida playing the Islanders. This one's interesting because the Islanders are a tough team. So is Florida, though, because you got the resurgent Jaromir Jagr, who's like ageless. I mean, the dude just doesn't age. He's like 45 years old. 45. I mean, oh, man. Like, dude just doesn't break down. He just does not break down. They got a great goalie in Luongo. I saw them play Anaheim back in November. They did not look good at all. But since then, their boy on D, Aaron Ekblad, has looked a lot better. Barkov looks good. They got some really good first. They've been drafting for a decade in like that top 3, and it's finally paying off. They missed the playoffs from 99 until like 2011, 2012. So they had 10 years, or 2000 to 2011. They had 10 years of like 1 through 5 picks, and they're starting to pay off now. And that team looks good. They got D, they got a good goalie. They're managed well. They got a good coach. I'm going to go Florida, but it's going to be close. Florida probably in like 7. So you got Florida, Tampa Bay. Lovely. You got Florida, Tampa Bay. We're going to have an all Florida, semifinal. That's great. Like, there's going to be 3 guys in Florida watching this. No disrespect to Florida. I like it. Love that crocodile and alligator alley. But anyway, let's move on to the Metropolitan Division. Up there, we got the Penguins playing the Rangers. And as you guys all know, the Penguins are resurgent, and wow, I don't know what they're doing, It ain't all Crosby, okay? This is like Kessel and Martin and Letang. Everybody's just playing all out. They're out their goalie, though, for a while. So this series, look, the Rangers have been sticking it to the Penguins now for the last 2 years, 3 years. That's not going to happen this year. In fact, I think the Penguins are going to make short order of the Rangers pretty quick. And I think that that could be a 5-game series. Now, they knocked them out last year. Rangers beat the Penguins last year in 5. This year, the Penguins are going to tear themselves, off that cross that they've been bearing for a while. And they're going to look at the Rangers and say, my turn now, motherfuckers. And they're going to kick the shit out of the Rangers, I think. Rangers are just tired. It's been years now for them. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They've been now struggling to get that cup now for like 7 years. The guys are starting to get a little older and beat up and tired, and I don't see it. So Penguins move on. Capitals are going to play the Bruins. Caps are going to win. This series is going 7, by the way, because the Bruins are tough and they can hit. They can rock them, sock them with the Caps, and the Caps aren't expected. Caps are not built for the playoffs. They're built for like regular season and all that mumbo jumbo with the offense. But when it comes down to the playoffs and you have matchups, guys getting crushed, and you're keeping things real tight, that's a Bruins style. It's not the Caps style, scoring like 4 goals a game, which is not going to happen in the playoffs. I can see the Caps winning this series, but Hopi, as the Caps goalie, he's going to be tested. I see the Bruins actually being what the Caps were last year to the Rangers. I think the Bruins are going to be a real thorn in the side. They could even be up in this series 2-1, 2-0. So don't be surprised to see the Bruins, really giving the Caps everything they can handle. If the Flyers make the playoffs, that would be the Flyers' spot. But we'll address that if they get there. Right now, they're on the outside looking in. So I think the Caps move on. So now we got the Caps playing the Penguins, and I think the Penguins win that series. I think the Penguins go and win that one in like 6. This is not going to be like the 2009 version either. This is going to be a defensive-minded Penguin team that is going to just plow through Washington. And, look, they're resurgent, man. I don't know what it is about Pittsburgh. Look, Crosby's having a good season, but I've never been impressed with Crosby from what Crosby was supposed to be to what Crosby actually is. Yes, great player, won a cup, got to a cup, but he was hailed as like the next great one. Like there was Gretzky, great. Then there was Lemieux, La Magnifique, okay, great. Then there was Lindros, who was known as the next one. Gretzky was the great one. Lindros never really kind of lived up to that, and I think here Crosby's like a little bit better, in terms of what he's accomplished, but not by much. Lindros had great numbers too throughout his, seasons and goals and all that stuff. But is Sidney Crosby great? No, he's not. He's good, but greatness is in that Gretzky realm, Gordie Howe realm, Lemieux realm, Yzerman realm. Guys that can lead you on their back in the playoffs. I don't give a shit what you do during the regular season. It's what you do after, right around tax day until you get to flag day, which, by the way, that's like, between the two, when it begins and when it ends in the playoffs. And you know what? Crosby doesn't really get it done. Ever since that 2009 Cup 7 years ago, they haven't done squat. The farthest they went was in 2013. They went to the Eastern Final. They scored 2 goals and got swept. Great? No, sorry. So all my fans and detractors that want to give me shit about that, sorry. But Pittsburgh's best players were, was, is, and always will be Jags and Lemieux. It's not even a question. Not Malkin and Crosby. So having said that, the Pens are going to knock out the Caps, and they're going to now be in that Eastern Final playing probably Florida. And I think the Pens are going to be... Florida's going to knock out Tampa in like 6, maybe 7. And then you're going to see the Penguins knock out Florida in about 6 games. So the Penguins are going to be in the Cup. Now, who are they going to play? L.A., Chicago, Jesus Christ. Like, it's the hardest thing to pick. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go LA on this one because it's every other year. All right. LA, Pittsburgh in the cup. I think that's actually a pretty good cup. Two really good teams that have played well throughout the season. Two teams over 100 points. But notice it's never the President Trophy winning team. I'm going to go LA to win the cup because we're going 7 because LA's battle tested. They've been there and they will have the defense to be able to shut down Crosby and company. And Crosby's been able to do, the Penguins have been able to do their thing throughout the Eastern Conference. But if they get, they're down a lot in games, 2-0, 3-0. You're down 2-0, 3-0 to LA, you're done. Because LA will stick it to you, and they got Jonathan Quick who will just, barricade the door, and you're done. So I like that series to be a fun series. I think LA wins their third cup in 4 years. 5 years. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 12, 14, and 16. They're going to have cups in 3 of the last 5 years, and them and the Blackhawks are really the top teams. Over the past almost decade. So, yep. So that's how the view is from here as far as the NHL playoffs. Anything you guys want to know, put it in the comments below. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. And April 13th is the beginning of the NHL playoffs. So everybody tune in. If there are any changes to that schedule, like if the Flyers are to overtake the Bruins, then we will reconvene again and we will go through each round. Until then, this is your boy G-Man signing off saying, everybody, hey, enjoy the playoffs because it is a fun ride. Pow!